Hello and welcome again. Today in this lecture, we will be discussing web trends, focusing on how modern technologies and user expectations are shaping the future of the web. Web technology is changing at a rapid pace, making it challenging to predict what tools and behaviors will look like even a few years from now. This rapid evolution is a major consideration for web developers who need to stay current with the latest trend and technologies. As the famous baseball player and manager Yogi Berra once joked, it's tough to make predictions, especially about the future. This quote perfectly captures the uncertainty of predicting technological trends. Now, let's talk about the web browser market. More than a decade ago, there was intense competition among browsers like Internet Explorer, Firefox, and Chrome, each vying for market share. However, in recent years, the browser market has established um, with fewer significant changes. Most users today rely on a few well-established browsers such as Chrome, Firefox, Safari, etc. And these browsers tend to have a consistent market share. For web developers, this ability means that the primary focus should be on creating web applications that adhere to current technology standard. It's also important to ensure that web pages work well across all established browsers rather than depending on features that are specific to one particular browser. So, this approach helps avoid frustrating users and ensures a consistent experience no matter which browser they use. So this chart shows the popularity of different web browsers from 2010 to 2024. We can see Chrome in green rising quickly and becoming the dominant browser by 2016, while Internet Explorer in blue dropped sharply after 2011. Other browsers like Firefox, Safari, and Edge have much smaller shares, with Chrome staying on top throughout the years. Today, we are seeing a significant shift in how people access the web. Mobile devices like smartphones and tablets have overtaken desktop computers as the primary means of accessing the internet. This shift has important implications over web developers. So, to give you a sense of the trend, let's look at some statistics. Back in 2012, desktop usage dominated with about 90% of web access coming from desktop computers. However, by 2024, this number has dropped to around 40%. Meanwhile, mobile usage has seen a dramatic rise. Starting from almost 0% in 2029, mobile usage has grown to account for 60% of web access by 2024. Given this significant shift towards mobile, developers need to prioritize mobile-friendly design. There are several critical considerations to keep in mind when developing for mobile devices. For example, screen size. Mobile devices have much smaller screen compared to desktop. This means developer need to design layouts that are easy to navigate and view on smaller screens. Load speed. Mobile internet connections can be slower or less stable than desktop connection. It's important to optimize websites for faster loading time and to accommodate users with limited or slower internet connectivities. Device performance, data cost, battery life, etc. are also typically different than the desktop user. So these are also considerable facts. And user interface, unlike desktops, where users interact using a mouse, mobile device rely on touch or buttons for user interaction. Developers need to design touch-friendly interfaces or button-friendly interfaces that are easy to use on smaller screens. Now, this chart shows the shift from desktop to mobile internet usage over time. For example, in 2010, desktops dominated almost 100% of web traffic, but mobile usage rose rapidly, overtaking desktops around 2016. Now, today, mobile remains the primary way people access the internet, while desktop usage has steadily declined. The Internet of Things or IoT connects everyday devices like thermostats or refrigerators to the internet. For example, the Nest Learning thermostat can adjust temperatures automatically, while the LG Internet refrigerator can track groceries or display recipes. These devices share data and can be controlled remotely, making homes smarter and more efficient. Now, what is IoT? IoT represents a global network of devices that are capable of sensing, communicating, and controlling various aspects of our environment on behalf of the humans. These devices can range from simple tools like temperature sensors to highly advanced equipments. For example, satellite based laser scanners that can discover archaeological sites hidden under dense vegetation. So, to give you an idea of the density of IoT devices, let's consider the example of Nest thermostat, a smart device that monitors and controls the temperature in homes. Another example might be the internet refrigerator that we discussed in the previous slide. So, IoT devices typically display one or more of the following characteristics: sensing the physical world, data sharing, executing commands, etc. People do not usually interact directly with IoT devices. Instead, interaction typically occurs through custom applications or web pages that provide a user friendly interface. So, this is where web developers play a crucial role. They build the web pages that provide an overview of the holistic system and allow users to access specific information from the aggregated sensor data. These web pages can also enable users to adjust system parameters or activate and deactivate certain parts of the system remotely. Today, we are going to talk about the accessibility of the web space, which is all about ensuring that everyone, including people with disabilities, can access and use the web with reasonable effort. Web accessibility is crucial because it ensures equal access and opportunity for all users, promoting inclusivity and preventing discrimination. So, to discuss web apps accessibility, it involves designing web pages that can be easily accessed and navigated by the users with disability. To develop accessible web pages, it's important to have an understanding of the various disabilities that can affect the web use, the assistive technologies and software that help users with disability, and best design practices to make content compatible with these tools. Some common disabilities that impact web accessibility includes visual problems, hand control issues, seizures, and cognitive challenges. People with disabilities often use assistive technologies like screen reader, voice recognition software, and other alternative input devices. As web developers, it's our job to ensure that our website are compatible with these technologies, allowing everyone to access and interact with the web content. Now, to understand the importance of web accessibility, let's look at some milestones in its evolution. In 1973, the Rehabilitation Act was passed, prohibiting discrimination based on disability for federal agencies and programs receiving federal assistance. And the American with Disabilities Act, or known as ADA of 1990, further emphasized the communication with people with disability must be as effective as communication with others. By 1998, the Rehabilitation Act Section 508 required that all federal websites and technologies be accessible to people with disabilities, ensuring that federal employees and the public could access the information. In 2008, WCAG 2.0 was released, offering updated guidelines with new success criteria to improve accessibility. So, looking forward to most recently in 2022, the Department of Justice released guidance on how government agencies and public facing business can ensure their websites are accessible as required by the ADA. Now, cognitive computing, what it is, cognitive computing refers to the use of artificial intelligence techniques combined with access to vast amount of data. The goal is to simulate human problem-solving abilities, especially in situations that involve ambiguity, changing data, or even conflicting information. Cognitive computing systems are designed to handle real world complexities that traditional computing might struggle with. These systems aim to mimic human thought process, enabling them to understand, reason, and learn from large data set. They can process information in a way that closely resembles human cognition, making them highly effective in areas where understanding is very crucial. So, a leading example of cognitive computing is IBM Watson. Watson has become a symbol of this trend, representing the potential to create intelligent software systems capable of processing massive number of web pages and other external data sources. Watson is used to tackle challenging problems across different fields. For example, in medical treatment, in retail, in customer support, and etc. A key factor that enables system like Watson to function effectively is to use of web page metadata and structure markup, often processing information. These systems rely on structured data to make sense of the vast amounts of information they encounter. Metadata provides context, helping the system understand what the data represents and how it can be used. So for example, you can imagine a web page with text that includes numbers. If these numbers are placed in structured format, such as an HTML table with a clear title like pacemaker failure rates, the system can easily identify and extract relevant information. This structured approach make the data more useful and easier for intelligent systems to interpret. So that's all for this lecture, and this is the end of um this is the end of the most boring parts of the module one, and in the next lecture we will be talking about the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and we will gradually learn how they are implemented, and let's see you in the next lecture. Thank you all.